Hey kids, let's jump in the Wayback Machine to 1981 this week.
When my sister was born in 81.
Oh wow.
But yeah,
I was 5.
I was 5 too. 4-ish, depending on when in 1981.
Fair, yeah, fair.
But I had a new baby sister, so it was a big year for me.
January, Ronald Reagan is inaugurated after securing 489 electoral votes.
That is wild.
Yeah, that's
I
a
mean, I
lot
know
of
that's
votes.
how it used to work.
You can be proud of Maryland.
Yeah.
Ellie.
Oh yeah, they were the
Yes.
ones.
They were one of the few. They were like, I think I looked at it like 5 states, DC as well.
That's right.
And Michigan and like a couple others, but like, yeah, it was a red.
489.
Red.
Well, I mean,
489.
you're cleansing from Jimmy Carter, which nobody liked. So
It was definitely a response.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
In March, John Hinckley Jr. shoots Reagan. Jodie Foster is unimpressed.
I mean, we had a reoccurrence of that this year, almost.
Well, sort of.
Sort of.
I think Hinckley actually did shoot Reagan, and that's all I'll say about
that.
He's like in and out of parole now, John. Or is he released now?
I don't know.
There was some story about him recently. He lives like in the Roanoke, like Williamsburg area.
Poor Jody.
Yeah.
Poor Jody.
Yeah.
May, Pope John Paul II is shot and wounded in St. Peter's Square. Very violent year, 1981.
As a 10-year-old Catholic, I remember that more than I remembered Reagan getting shot. That was a huge deal in my household.
Interesting.
If someone tried to shoot the Pope. And that's where the Pope Mobile showed up after that.
That's great. Where was he shot? I don't remember that.
In Vatican City. Yeah.
No, where? Like on his body?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
It was the ear.
Stop it.
It healed immediately.
That's crazy that they got weapons into Vatican City. It's pretty locked down.
Well, again, now.
Yeah, I guess that's
now
true.
It is.
No.
Yeah.
In June, an outbreak of Kaposi sarcoma is detected among gay men in New York and California. Doctors initially referred to the cause as GRID, gay-related immune disorder, before it is more widely known as AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Yeah, gay-related immune disorder.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Well, they were all gay men. Like they didn't know where it was coming from. They just knew that their immune systems were failing, and it was 41 gay men, and doctors knew nothing else.
I guess, but still, did you have to really say gay-related immune disorder?
I mean, they changed it pretty soon after that.
Yeah, I'm sure when it became a big story.
Yeah, it's because you're gay. God is punishing you. Yeah. That's basically what that says.
Correct.
July, Prince Charles marries Lady Diana Spencer in a wedding that costs anywhere between $70 million to $110 million when adjusted for inflation.
Didn't save the marriage, did it?
No, oh my god.
Sure did not.
Created a spectacle though. I mean, so I guess hopefully ratings and a lot of merch sells.
I was 10 years old, glued to the television.
Everybody
absolutely watched the royal wedding.
Well, an estimated 750 million people watched worldwide. Yeah. So
here's a question. I'm sure that none of us have the answer. I'd be curious to see how many people watched the wedding versus how many people watched her funeral. If it was about the same amount of people.
Oh, I don't know.
That's a morbid thought, but interesting.
I don't know.
I mean,
all I remember is we had to get up really early in the morning to watch the wedding.
I got up early to watch Prince William. I happened to be out of town for going to another wedding that weekend, which was hilarious. So it was like Prince William's wedding was on Friday, and then I left, and my friend's wedding was on Saturday.
August, MTV is launched.
And 2026, now it's died.
Yeah.
Mostly.
45 years, not a bad run.
No, pretty good. Pretty good.
We never had MTV in the house because we didn't have cable.
Same.
So I never watched MTV.
When MTV was launched, it was like music videos 24/7. They didn't have, the real world. They didn't make reality shows. They didn't do game shows. They didn't do it. Just music videos nonstop. And before MTV, I had to set my VCR for 12:30 in the morning on a Friday night to tape 90 minutes of Friday night videos on NBC.
Yes, I watched that.
Saturday Night Live. Because music videos were a really cool thing, but like you couldn't see them anywhere except for
Yeah.
super duper late night broadcast television, and then MTV came on, and like it was heaven.
I had no idea that was actually a thing.
Oh God.
Like, I always wondered where you watched music videos before MTV. I thought
Yeah.
they were created for MTV.
No.
Interesting. Okay.
No, they were becoming a big deal, and but again, it was really hard to find anyone to play them. But like it made sense to me. Like, why not have a visual component
Yeah.
to all of these pop songs? You know, and people, old school people, they hated it. They thought, you know, again, video killed the radio star, blah blah blah. Whatever. We like our pop stars to be attractive. Don't judge.
That's true. By the way, here's an update. 2.5 billion people watched Diana's funeral. So,
Whoa.
yeah.
That's incredible.
So,
wow. Top song, Betty Davis Eyes by Kim Carnes.
sure.
I just thought it was it was
like
kind of fun. That I love that song. I don't love her voice. It's very raspy and it sounds like it hurts when she sings. So I always feel sorry for her because I'm like, you know, take a lozenge, Kim.
Like the lunch lady singing the song, Gio, while you're getting your slot.
But it's funny. I'm a huge fan of Betty Davis now, but like I didn't know who Betty Davis was when I heard Betty Davis Eyes, and so now when I listen to it, I'm like, that's kind of cool. And I love the fact that that was the top song given the movie we're about to discuss.
Correct. A lot of titans in Hollywood.
Yeah,
we're talking about.
You want some mashed potatoes with that? Box office champs. Third place, Cannonball Run.
I don't know. I don't even know what that movie's about. I've never seen it. Know nothing about it.
Oh, it's silly. It's silly.
It's a farce, right?
It's a big, and it's about a race, like a cross country, and it's this big ensemble,
like, sort of Caddyshack-ish.
Very, very.
Okay.
Caddyshacky.
Number 2, Stripes.
Very silly year, 1981.
I haven't seen that either. That's Bill Murray, right?
Bill Murray doing the Private Benjamin shtick.
Oh,
going to the army.
No, that interests me not at all.
And then number 1 in the box office, Superman 2.
Solid.
I did see Superman 2. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
The ending was a little weird when he gives up his powers and starts throwing, his symbol around. It was really strange inside the Fortress of Solitude, but
he wanted to get laid, and I get it.
Who among us?
You know?
Oscar winners of 1982. Chariots of Fire for Best Picture and Best Original Screenplay.
There's a meme going on right now that basically says if you listen to Chariots of Fire but read the lyrics to On Top of Spaghetti, it scans almost perfectly. It's a boring film, but it was prestigious. So there we are.
I mean, like The English Patient. Reds, Best Director, Warren Beatty. Best Supporting Actress, Maureen Stapleton.
I have not seen that movie either.
I would see that movie though. After Diane Keaton died, it was one of those that I was like, this is a Diane Keaton film that I should give a look to.
Is it a spy thriller?
No, it's about communists, and Maureen Stapleton played Emma Goldman.
Oh.
And won the Oscar. Yeah, it's about Americans in and around the Russian Revolution.
Oh, okay.
And so it is talk about liberal Hollywood. This is like a pro-communism film in the first year of the Reagan administration.
Oh,
so
wow. That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
And then On Golden Pond, Best Actress, Katharine Hepburn. Henry Fonda, Best Actor.
Play, isn't it?
Katharine Hepburn is still the only actor with 4 Academy Awards.
I have not seen any of those movies.
Neither have I.
None, not a single one.
On Golden Pond is exactly what you think it is.
Like a touching, like old people kind of.
It could have been a television movie on
Lifetime.
Yeah,
got it.
It's very sweet.
Welcome to the Rewind Project, where Allie, Matt, and Eric take another look at your favorite milestone movies through the lens of our present day. Will it be a skip, rent, or buy? Stay tuned and find out.
Okay, kids. We are setting the rewind machine back 45 years to 1981, and we are talking today about one of those so bad it's good question mark
Mm.
movies.
That question mark's doing a lot of work.
Yeah. Is a movie ever so bad that it's good, or is it just bad? That's one of the things we're going to talk about. But the subject of today's pod is the infamous Mommie Dearest, directed by Frank Perry, very novice director. I think that showed. Written by a guy named Frank Yablans, also Frank Perry and Tracy Hotchner and Robert Getchell. We've said before, it's a bad sign when you have a gajillion screenwriters. At least 7 screenwriters tried their hand at this, and the final result was kind of a hodgepodge cut and paste of a lot of their efforts. Christina Crawford, of course, wrote the memoir that this is based on. She wrote 2 scripts, both of which were rejected.
I was going to ask if she attempted to write the script.
She did attempt, but her memoir, but she sold the rights in a deal that gave her a big pot of money, but no residuals or royalties. Oh. So forever she was bitter about the fact that this went on to become a cult classic. And
you got to take the residuals. Even I know that.
Yeah. So anyway, notable achievements. Faye Dunaway was 2nd place Best Actress in the New York Film Critics Circle and won one of the Best Actress Awards. I don't know how many there were, from the National Society of Film Critics. Were they high? I
mean, we just went through
awards.
We just went through the top films, or at least the top box office performers of 81, and there were not a lot of great options. So perhaps it was just a slim year.
maybe, but it also won a shit ton of Razzies, as it should have. Worst Picture, Worst Actress, tied with Bo Derek in Tarzan the Ape Man. Worst Supporting Actor for Steve Forrest, Worst Supporting Actress for Diana Scarwid, although 2 of her co-stars, Mara Hobel and Rutanya Alda, were also nominated in the Worst Supporting Actress category. It also went along to, years later, it won Worst Picture of the Decade and Worst Picture of the last 25 years. So this has got a long-standing tradition of just being a really, 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 really bad movie. So let's get into it. The plot, if you are been living under a rock your whole life and don't know anything about Mommie Dearest, a movie star with perhaps undiagnosed obsessive compulsive disorder and tendency towards alcoholism
and narcissism,
alcoholism and malignant narcissism, adopts a little girl and other children and abuses her throughout her life. Although if you watch this movie, you might believe that Christina had one younger brother and that was it. In fact, there were more children who just didn't want to be seen in this particular movie and so removed themselves from being mentioned at all.
Oh, I kind of thought it was because they were adopted later and Christina had gotten shipped off to school and didn't really know them. So she kind of
that's kind of true, but also the twins, as we will talk about later, defended their mother against this horrible slander of a book, and it caused estrangement between the 4 siblings for the rest of their life. So, so there's that. All right, the cast. Let's get into it. This movie, that really the only thing we need. This is gonna take a while to talk about. The first person archetype, Faye Dunaway as Joan Crawford. Holy shit.
I feel like this performance has shaped drag queen shows for decades.
Absolutely.
It's just so
absolutely
over the top, ridiculous in so many scenes.
In fact, one of the YouTube rabbit hole things I went down was talking about how whenever Joan Crawford makes an appearance on Snatch Game on RuPaul's Drag Race, very few of them ever quote any of Joan's movies. They're quoting Mommie
Dearest. Yeah.
I mean, that has absolutely eclipsed any impact Joan Crawford actually made on the world as a huge Hollywood star. This has become her persona. This over-the-top, crazy.
So I was talking to my mom and wishing that I could watch it with my mom. And she was like, "Oh, I've never seen this movie." And I said, well, just imagine Faye Dunaway eating every piece of scenery and then adding even more on top of that. I was like, it's very, very, very campy and very it's funny because, I am also a bit of a campy actress, or at least I was accused of that by my high school director. And nothing wrong with that. Campy actors and actresses out there, go forth. But I would have relished this kind of part. And I know she kind of tried to distance herself after, which we're going to talk about. But man, I mean, what a license to just chew up every fucking piece of scenery.
Well, it was one of those things that the people behind it, some camp is absolutely on purpose. I think we've talked about Girls Will Be Girls on this podcast before. They absolutely knew what they were making. It's campy, it's over the top, it's crazy, and it means to be. They really thought this was going to be Oscar bait.
Like
I
a
mean, the
prestige
people who
picture.
went into this movie really believed that they were creating a really serious work
Yeesh.
about an important social issue, child abuse, and that we have this actress at the top of her game. Faye Dunaway was already an Oscar winner at this point, in a movie that we'll be talking about next week, actually. And here she was, you know, playing a very famous woman, looking almost exactly like her in a way that made everyone go, ooh, ah. And it just ended up being like they just went way too far. And Faye Dunaway will say to this day, it was my job to go really far and it was their job to pull me back, and they never pulled me back. And I'm like, well, you went as far as you went and it was fucking crazy.
It was far.
It's funny though, like if you just added a little bit more humor into this movie, or any humor rather, this would be a John Waters film, almost like Serial Mom. Like that's how much. I mean, if I think about this movie and I added some jokes into it, that's what you get.
Now it's interesting because John Waters said about this movie that this was the first time, a woman actually played a drag role. As basically, and so they invited him to do one of those voiceovers when they did a DVD, a commentary, an audio commentary over the film. And to the producer's great dismay, he didn't talk about any of the camp value. He basically addressed the entire movie like it was a serious drama and just started talking about, and it was
Wild.
interesting, but Matt, you and I talked about this after we saw it. Watching this movie by myself in prep for the pod was a completely different experience than watching it in a big room full of catty gay men, which is the way it has to be experienced, I believe.
If you want to enjoy it.
Appreciate. Well, yes. If you want to get anything out of it whatsoever.
Yeah, that was, I realized that like halfway through, I'm like, this is a completely different movie on your own. It because it settles in. There's like the abuse that's actually going on, the craziness and absurdity of it isn't quite as funny when you're watching it by yourself for some reason. It was very weird.
And when I went down my YouTube rabbit hole, and by the way, there's a whole lot of YouTube that you can watch about 1981's Mommie Dearest. There was this interesting clip of Faye Dunaway very calmly, very kind of regally talking about the fact that this often happens with women of no means who become wealthy and then give birth to children of opulence and wealth. That there's just this real disconnect. And she does say, Joan was probably a very strict disciplinarian and likely went too far in many cases, especially according to our modern sensibilities, but that some of this had to do with the fact that mother and daughter grew up in incredibly different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I think the movie did, now that I was watching it by myself and not, commenting along and laughing at all the ridiculousness of it, this movie did, I think, Roger Ebert would disagree with me when he said that this movie gives Joan absolutely no reason for behaving the way she does.
Oh, no, it totally does.
I saw it in all the comments that were made about how poor she was when she grew up, how she came from nothing. And before you even get to the child abuse, you see what a obsessive compulsive cleaner she is, and how dirt is the enemy and everything must be perfect. And you're like, okay, when a kid comes along, you're going to get disabused of that real fast. Well, she's not. The world needs to bend to her whim, and all of her children must be perfect in every way. And by the way, her definition of perfect changes depending on how much vodka she's had that day.
I mean, I definitely saw the mental health issues. And, again, that's looking at it from a 2026 lens when we're all more exposed to those sorts of things. And we kind of can see that people just don't have problems or personalities. Like it is born of something else. And so, when she was inspecting at the beginning, when she didn't have children, or she's, walking on the beach with Greg, I definitely was like, oh, I see where not that I'm excusing the behavior, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But, I definitely saw where all of that was coming from. And certainly, a lot of what she did with her children was very performative, because first and foremost, she was a movie star. She wanted to be a movie star. She was not a mom first. And even when she had children, she was not a mom first. And so a lot of that was performative on top of like her mental health issues, and probably should have never had a child anyway. And probably the reason that her adoption petition was, she had to buy children basically, right? That was kind of glossed over, but her petition was denied at the beginning. And so she had to get these children through other different means.
And you're watching it as a feminist going, how dare they not give this woman a child? And then later on, you're like, oh, they were right.
Right. They were like, yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because this movie got a lot of, when people were still trying to take it seriously, before it became a camp classic, all of the critics were saying, they don't give her enough psychological grounding. And I'm like, I saw some stuff there. And to your point, Allie, this is why we have this podcast, is it's always, how did it age well?
Right.
And this one, no. But that aspect of it, I think, did age quite well, and that we got just enough. But it's interesting that Christina Crawford came along later, and again, she was getting no residuals, no royalties. She could trash the movie if she wanted to, and she did. And she said that she disliked the fact that they gave Joan too much reason for behaving the way she did. And one story she told was, she said, according to the movie, she got fired from MGM during the day, and that night she takes an axe to the garden. It's a famous, Christina, bring me the axe.
Bring me the axe.
And Christina said both of those things happened, but they did not happen on the same day. That was not a cause and effect. Mom cut down the garden one night and woke us all up at 3 a.m. to help her destroy the entire garden because she was drunk and because she was crazy. Period. End of story. So stop trying to give her and elicit sympathy by having her go through this whole thing of how, L.B. Mayer was so awful to her, and that's why she came along and abused her children. She's like, no, that's not why. Stop trying to give her reasons for this. So it's interesting. Depending on where you sit, you have a very different reaction to whether or not any of this, and nobody's saying the behavior was justified, but was there a grander reason behind it, if any? And Christina would say no.
Well, it's interesting that you talk about LB being, bad to her, when I think it was actually the industry itself. And it's something that we talk about now, that it is harder for women when they age in this industry to find parts, because there are not a lot of them. And she kept trying to play the ingenue when she was in her 40s, and it just didn't make any sense. And I think audiences weren't responding to it anymore. It wasn't until Mildred Pierce that she kind of had a comeback where she was playing somebody older again.
When she and Betty Davis were in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, they were as old as Jennifer Aniston is today.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. I mean, it was also, yes.
It's a cool industry.
And they were playing old, haggy biddies. Of course, they didn't have the plastic surgery options that actresses have today. And so their wrinkles actually did show up on film in ways that, actresses in their 50s would not look that same way, which is a whole other conversation. But anyway, back to Mommie Dearest.
I mean, I think too, one thing that, as you were talking, Eric, I was thinking about, like the cause and effect. That's the thing about most abuse, is that there isn't a cause, right? And that, and you have to be kind of like on your guard all the time, because you never know what's going to happen. And so, yeah, I didn't love that, like, she had to have a reason to like beat the shit out of her daughter, or, tear up her rose garden or whatever. Like most that, especially that type of abuse where it is really off the rails, is by nature, you don't know. You could have a good day, you could have a bad day. You don't know. You have to be on tenterhooks the whole time.
And Christina said, my book was from my perspective as an abuse victim.
Right.
And the movie tried to make a movie about Joan Crawford. And she's like, you can't make a movie about this kind of crazy behavior. You can only make a movie from the child's point of view of how on earth you navigate that kind of, although nothing spurred on the whole rare roast beef incident. But apparently that was a real thing, that just, sometimes both she and her brother would go for days without eating because they wouldn't eat what was in front of them because mom wanted them to eat gross stuff.
Well, nothing spurred on the hanger scene either. I mean, she just lost her shit for no reason because she saw a wire hanger, which the kid wouldn't have had. Like the clothes went up for dry cleaning, they came back, and Catherine Ann is the one that hung the clothes back up most likely, and she's the one that didn't change out the hanger. I doubt Christina even knew there was a wire hanger in her closet. So
probably not, but I mean, it does. Yeah. But it totally goes back to that whole thing. When I saw I mean, that no wire hanger scene, infamous, unhinged, overacted, camp out the wazoo. I'm not making excuses for either Joan Crawford or Faye Dunaway in that scene. And I totally got that, she's supposed to hang these lovely dresses on these silk puffy hangers that don't leave marks when you hang a dress.
Mhm.
It doesn't leave the little horns on your back, that a wire hanger will leave. And it has everything to do with class. Is that, you give this child everything and she treats her stuff like garbage, according to Joan, in her warped mind. It killed her that she was raising spoiled children, because I think she took so much pride in coming from nothing and making something out of her life. And there was no way in the world she could raise kids with as much grit as she had if she was going to raise them in this mansion in the Hollywood Hills. But of course, she wasn't going to give up her own wealth to do that. So maybe try not having kids, Joan.
Yeah,
Would be my
right.
answer.
I did make a wire hanger joke with my mom because my parents only use wire hangers and I hate wire hangers. I use those velvet ones for mostly the reason I don't like. Well, first of all, I think wire hangers are trash. But so it was a funny like reverse joke that my mom only uses wire hangers and will not take my advice to change to velvet hangers like I have. So perhaps I'm the Joan Crawford in this
Yes.
situation.
Miss Jenkins said it was clean.
So, Eric, I do have one question. Like, did the real Christina ever talk about Faye's performance? Like, what she thought of it?
Well, yes, several people asked her, was your mother really like that? And her answer was always only the makeup.
Interesting.
And I think, again, I mean,
It's
I
a
didn't
very
get, so yeah.
it's a very PC way of saying, yeah, that was really poorly done.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it was just, but again, the main thing that she took issue with was the idea that these incidents had any kind of root cause. But I also think that people were interested in making a movie about how were movie stars treated back then. I mean, they were bringing in all the money and they were treated like crap, especially women.
Yeah.
And I think that was an interesting thing, but maybe it doesn't belong in your movie about child abuse, because it kind of it muddied the water a little bit. Anyway, any final words about Faye Dunaway and the movie that pretty much tanked the rest of her career? Not that she never made a movie ever again. She did. Don Juan DeMarco, Barfly, a couple other things that she did that were fairly high profile, but this really took her out of the running for all the prestige movies that she was making throughout the 70s.
No, the only thing that cracks me up is that Bowen Yang has @Faye Dunaway as his Instagram handle. So.
And would that have happened without Mommie Dearest? I doubt
who
it.
knows? Who knows?
I doubt it. I really doubt it. Because, you watch stuff like, we've talked about Mildred Pierce on this show. By the way, listeners, go check out our episode about Mildred Pierce. You can find it. We haven't talked about Bonnie and Clyde, but that's kind of, did we talk about Bonnie and Clyde? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Did we? Anyway, great movie. The Eyes of Laura Mars, great movie. I mean, there is some really, she's done some really, really good work. And then she came out with this piece of shit. And it's just like, oh my God. And, Allie, you sent us that article from The Guardian about how, maybe we're too hard on Mommie Dearest. And I read that and I didn't throw my phone across the room because I want to damage my phone, but I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
It's a bad movie. I mean, even if you take the camp aspect out of it and say, okay, maybe it shouldn't have become a cult classic. It's not a good film.
No, it's
just not.
I will say that to me, that makes me think it's more of the director's fault than a lot of the people performing in the movie. Because if so many people had gotten Razzies and bad publicity for poor acting inside the movie, I kind of feel like that's the director and their direction that they're giving the people. They were trying to make this sensationalistic spectacle.
Yeah. Well, and Faye Dunaway can certainly act. I mean, I think when she, shuffles off this mortal coil, she will not be remembered as just, a terrible actress because of this one film. She's done some really great work in her life. But yeah, how this came about, I have no idea. But speaking of, it's a nice little segue, because my favorite moment in Mommie Dearest, by favorite I mean worst, over the top, but fun to, play along with when you're watching the movie, as you should, in a room full of gay men, is actually not no wire hangers. It's that moment where adult Christina says, because I am not one of your fans. So let's talk about Diana Scarwood as the adult Christina Crawford, who shows up about halfway through the movie. She got second billing. But she's only in the last half because she plays Christina Crawford as an adult. We'll talk about the child, Christina, in a moment. Um, Other than that moment of brilliance, which absolutely, Matt, should have been directed. If Faye's doing the over the top version, you should have said, just let it simmer, because, mother, I am not one of your fans. And that could have been maybe, but the way it is a lot more fun in a room full of crazy people who've been drinking and waving their wire hangers around, because it's crazy.
Especially afterwards when Joan, grabs her by the throat and
Yeah.
they go toppling over furniture. It's absurd. Absolutely absurd. Because especially you've got a reporter in that scene that comes in.
I
and,
know.
we don't hear any of this in Red Book. Really?
Well, no. I mean, the studios had so much control. Red Book wouldn't dare, But the point is, it's like, there's a reporter here. Be on your best behavior. Joan's the one that said she got expelled. You think that looks good for Red Book, Joan? So why are you? And then Christina stands up for herself because she wasn't expelled. Her mother took her out of the school, and then her mother behaves this way. It's like, so who's to blame here? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. But anyway, Diana Scarwood, Razzie for worst supporting actress. Go.
I just couldn't get past the wig. It was so bad. I'm so sorry. It really took me out. I mean, took me out, quote unquote, because I wasn't really all that in. But I just couldn't stop at staring at that awful, awful, awful wig she wore. It was so bad.
Well, the weird thing for me, I realized it halfway through the movie, is that you've got two Christinas, but they're playing a wide range of ages for Christina.
Yeah.
Because really, she's playing the adult Christina, but that adult Christina really starts in older teenager when she's at school.
And the truth is, Christina went off to that boarding school when she was 11 years old.
It was weird.
I don't think we were supposed to believe she was 11 in the movie, but
you can't, because she looked too old for it. I mean, as she got to the older Christina, I think she was better. When she was playing an adult, she was much better in the role than when she was trying to play a teenager. And I can't figure out if we couldn't, as the audience, figure out if she was a teenager or not. It just didn't make any sense to me as I was watching those scenes now. She was okay. She was fine. It was interesting, as she got older and she was out on her own and she would meet with her mother, how the scenes with her mom as an adult were more realistic in their interaction, and she seemed to have reconciled with her mother at that time. But the ones as a kid are still so outlandish. There is a definite moment, like when she meets her in her own apartment, where the switch has been flipped at that moment, and they actually have more of a relationship as adults. And maybe that's just because I don't know, Joan didn't see her as her daughter really anymore. She saw her as a fellow adult. It was very weird, that transition for me.
And yet that was apparently straight from the book, is that Christina thought they had reconciled until the reading of the will. And then realized that no. But crazy story that happened around that time when she was newly out of the house, had her own apartment in New York. We didn't hear much about Christopher during this movie, but Christopher absolutely stands by Christina. And Christopher, of course, was also cut out of the will. Christopher was involved in some kind of auto accident, and he was probably at fault. They did go to jail, but all of his friends got out on, basically their families came to get them. Joan let him sit in jail, and Christina actually went to court to make Christopher a ward of the state so that he could be basically divorced from Joan as his parent and come live with her. So this whole thing, and then the end, it's like, here, brother, meet my husband. I'm like, you didn't go to the wedding? That was a weird moment, but apparently she and Christopher were a lot closer than what this movie would have you say. And they were both, and Christopher is on record as saying he never talked about the movie, but he did answer a question about his mother and said, oh yeah, I find it difficult to reconcile that she ever loved me or cared for me at all. Basically, his notion is that Joan Crawford was a monster.
Maybe he felt like a prop, because they kind of were for a while.
Although one of the people that I was watching, that they made a big deal about the fact that they strapped him into bed. I'm like, if he sleepwalks or falls out of bed, that's not the most terrible. He could clearly take the straps off.
Yeah.
He wasn't a prisoner in his bed.
Go strap yourself in. She'll
Go strap
kill me
yourself
if
in.
she
She'll
finds
kill me if she finds out.
That the end scene where at the reading of the will, I had to wonder if anybody actually got money except charities, because again, Joan was so much
The twins did.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, they did. They did.
They were not disinherited.
She only had $2 million though when she died.
And that was going to be the thing. I would imagine that she would probably want to give most of it away so that people still had this idea of her being a good person, because everything was about publicity for her.
And she did. She gave a lot of money to charity. The twins got not much, but they were not disinherited, and they did receive some money.
But Christina sued and got $55,000.
Yes, Christina did get
at the end
her
measly portion.
Yes, she did get her portion after suing the estate.
I also kind of wonder if maybe Joan didn't give them anything because she thought these two can actually make it on their own.
No, she did it because she's a petty bitch.
She did it because no. You don't put in, if you're a huge movie star, you don't write in your will, I make no provision for them for reasons that are well known to them.
They know
that
what
is
they
a
did.
Huge slap in the face. And that's what Christina said towards the end. She was like, I realize that people will think I'm mad about the money. I wasn't mad about the money. I was mad that my mom basically threw me under the bus from beyond the grave with this terrible, scandalous thing that everyone reported about. And then she was like, okay, fine. These are reasons that are about to be well known to a whole lot of people then. Watch, because you're dead and I'm going to write a book.
She's still alive, Christina Crawford.
She's the only one who's still alive, actually, of the four.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And she was the oldest. So let's move on to Mara Hubble, nominee for Worst Supporting Actor. I
thought she was okay.
She was okay, and Razzies should not nominate children.
Correct.
I am. It's not the worst thing that's happening in the world, God knows, but that's just mean and cruel. Razzies, if you're listening, don't nominate kids. That's just shitty. And I thought she was pretty good. She was like a 30-year-old woman on the floor, surrounded by all that Ajax, going, Jesus Christ. I just thought I loved that moment for her. I just thought that was so, but it's like she learned from the best, right? She has to be an adult because she lives in this crazy town.
That delivery right there was amazing. When she
it was great.
I thought she was fine. I didn't have any sort of issues with her.
I mean, it's a wacky role to be playing as a kid anyways.
Yeah.
So what do you expect her to do with it?
Right.
Especially when you are responding to Faye Dunaway being unhinged in most of the scene.
I mean, she did scream and cry, but I thought it was always justified. And when she wasn't, she just sat in front of that rare roast beef and just didn't eat it in a very kind of calm, stoic kind of way.
Or even making the drinks for the new uncle.
Uh-huh.
that was a great scene for her too. Cause you realize that this kid is wise beyond her years now to what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And she's toying with her mom now in the only way that she can.
Mm-hmm. And that moment where she lingers after catching her mom canoodling with her new boyfriend and then just walks away very slowly. And that we were talking before about, kind of manipulating Uncle Greg so that she can keep her bracelet.
Yeah.
She's learning from the best. I
Correct.
mean, Stephen Sondheim told us children will not obey, but children will listen.
Yeah.
And she picks up on all this shit. Yeah. I actually thought she didn't do a bad job in this. Someone else who I enjoyed watching just because he was nice to look at was Steve Forrest as Uncle Greg Savitt, who disappears 40 minutes into this 2-hour plus film, but nonetheless got third billing.
Because he could get away from Joan and decided it was best for him.
Yes, I'm surprised he stuck around as long as he did. But, he's a lawyer in Hollywood. He could do quite well. Steve Forrest, good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Good-looking guy.
I have nothing else to say.
It was a fine role, fine part, fine acting.
I mean, had kids not popped into it, Greg probably would have stuck around. I doubt
it. She was crazy. She was not fun. She was unpleasant.
I think she got crazier with the kids though. Like it was just an added thing that she just did not need. Like she just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, that was a terrible idea.
Yes.
All around.
But the thing that broke them up, if we're again too much cause and effect, but it was that whole thing at the table with LB where she was basically a show pony for LB Mayer,
Fair.
and he didn't rescue her and take her back to her table as she was pissed, and he was like, "He's LB Mayer."
Right.
And by the way, how much have you had to drink? Because I'm
damn
mad.
And you were talking to your adoring fans, so what is he supposed to do?
Exactly. Exactly. All right, next up on our list, Rutanya Alda as Carol Ann.
Didn't she write an expose too? The woman who played Carol Ann?
Did.
Yeah,
She
I read
did.
that. I read that in my quote unquote research.
I actually read the book because it was
you
gifted
did?
to me. It's terrible.
What was her issue? That was she treated poorly on the movie?
Well, I mean, you read this book, and it's basically a chance for this woman who believes that she never became the star she was meant to be to tell you that she was the prettiest, best actress that Hollywood ever.
Sure.
Talking about her personally, and then has a little dish to, a little dirt to dish about Faye Dunaway. And a couple of details about the making of and how difficult Faye Dunaway was. But then it's, paragraphs and paragraphs about how everyone told me that I was much too pretty to be playing Carol Ann. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
It's just, I mean, it's a pretty unbelievable. I read the whole thing. I was on vacation. It was just a very quick read because it's not, it's not densely written, let's say. Yeah, it's awful.
It's the kind of thing that would be self-published on Amazon these days, right?
Yeah. And probably was self-published. I mean, I don't know that she got it published if this was terrible. Really, really bad. Rutanya, come for me. I don't care.
Carol Ann was a fine paid-for companion and housekeeper.
She's housekeeper, yeah. I mean,
I mean, it was interesting how long she was there for.
Loyal to a fault. I mean, I think there's a little Stockholm syndrome going on there with Carol Ann.
Well, yeah,
she was in that world and was so, I mean, you don't look the other way when that kind of abuse is being, delivered to children and make it.
She was also the nanny though too, apparently. I mean, I don't know that Joan was there all the time and Carol Ann was, and she would yell at Carol Ann when the kids were off doing things. So she got a new job besides just being the housekeeper.
Well, she ran the house. She ran the house. And that included minding the children when necessary.
Which was one of the things that I found really interesting about this movie is you never see friends. There are no friends for Joan. There are no friends for Christina. Like nobody. Until Christina goes to school and she finds the boys and the booze. I mean, she doesn't have any friends. It's really weird, the entire thing.
I mean, would you want to bring your friends to Joan Crawford's house? I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, her friends are probably Bing Crosby's kids. They can all sit around and have a support group.
Right. True. But I clocked that too, for sure.
By the way, that incident in the stables, that stable boy did not go to that school. He worked in the stables. It was a girls' school. He was 16 years old and Christina was 11.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, well,
that's a much different scene.
And also, very different scene. The outsized response to that makes a little bit more sense.
Yes.
Than if she was like 15 or 16 and just like experimenting.
And that's not the incident that caused Joan to take her out of the school. She stayed in that school for years. So just a lot of stuff around, details that were just kind of moved around and, made for more convenient linear Hollywood storytelling that were not necessarily.
Oh, that scene is so creepy now.
Oh. Yeah, I don't love it.
As it should be. And then finally, Howard Da Silva as LB Mayer, who just kind of was a stand-in for Hollywood is awful. Let's encapsulate all that awfulness in one man who was actually.
He seemed like
I thought
a
he
good
did a
guy.
great job because he was very charming as he was being a misogynist kind of prick.
Yeah, I just thought he seemed a little bit more like folksy than I would have expected, I guess.
It's interesting, his career starts in the 1930s, so he would have known Joan Crawford or maybe would have bumped into her.
Probably.
And probably knew LB. Probably knew LB too, so maybe it was a little bit of
But like you say, LB Mayer did not come across in this as being evil. And it might have been a better movie if he had.
Yeah.
Just because, again, maybe or maybe not. It's not. But LB Mayer was a dick. Like in life, he was terrible, and especially terrible to women. I mean, that's very well documented. So I think this movie, L.B. Mayer's estate, can't really complain
No.
about this film. So anyway, let's take our pivot to kind of talk about why we're here. So bad it's good. Is that even a thing?
Sometimes.
Do we love bad movies?
I mean, we'll talk about my two favorite bad movies, which is She Devil with Meryl Streep and Roseanne. I fucking love that movie. I do not want to hear anything about it. I love that movie so much. And Showgirls, which again, well documented on this podcast about how much I love Showgirls. And I think that those are both, for me, they are so bad that they are good. They are enjoyable movies. Once you know what, I think the key is, you know what you're getting yourself into, right? None of us went into, even if we had never seen it before, we did not go into Mommie Dearest thinking this is going to be a prestige movie, right? It just by subject alone, right? So like you go into these movies knowing that they're probably going to be fully ridiculous, and then it's a great time. Was it a great time for Mommie Dearest? We'll get to that. But I mean, those are my two main, like, so bad it's good movies. And I think they're a riot.
For me, I think it's generally movies that are enjoyable with a crowd. Like this, I feel if we watched it again with a group of friends, we would be laughing our butts off at how bad it is. So yes, that would be great. Like,
which, by the way, I'm having a cleanse tonight. I'm going to the Rehoboth Art Theater here in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, to watch Mommie Dearest on the big screen in a room full of 100 gay men. I plan on having a great time.
Yeah, the only way to see it, really.
Exactly. And like my other like bad movie that, or at least that what I consider to be a bad movie, but I still enjoy watching, is Valley of the Dolls.
So
it is a horrible movie, but
so
it's so much fun to watch with friends.
And you know, I wouldn't even call this a bad movie because it knows what it is. But I will say that when we started watching Girls Would Be Girls on repeat, Matt, with all of our friends, I was really hesitant to do so because I'd only ever seen it by myself and it was terrible.
Yeah.
But watching it by yourself is not how you watch that movie. It is a communal event. Yes. Another bad movie that kind of we look at and go, oh my God, that's terrible. But it's just, you know, there are some things that are like, I think The Women in 1939, I think that's actually a pretty good movie, but it's just so misogynistic. Like you have to watch it. You have to watch it with a grain of salt to go, oh my God, the times and how terrible they were to women, you know? And then something like Barbarella, you know, which was this, you know, sci-fi has been created since the 60s that teach us that like you can actually take it seriously the whole time, and that was just a chance to look at boobs, you know. And
I don't know that I've ever seen Barbarella.
Oh God, I mean,
I know what it is. I've not seen it. I probably will never see it.
It's a silly. I mean, Jane Fonda is just. It's so funny watching her do it because she's such a feminist icon now. But it's such an anti-feminist experience to watch it because it's just so exploitative. And her soon-to-be ex-husband either directed it or produced it or maybe both. And so just had her doing all of these things that she was not, you know, I mean, it's schlocky and bad and terrible, but it's fun to watch. I mean, it's fun. Flash Gordon in the early 80s was another one.
Oh, yes. Definitely watch that.
So bad. But I mean, I'll watch it and I'll laugh at it because it's so bad, you know? So yeah, I mean, I guess so there is a certain aesthetic too. But with this one, if you laugh out loud at a movie about horrific child abuse, does that make you an awful person?
I think it's because it's so over the top that it just seems absurd. That like you can't. It's hard not to laugh at absurdity sometimes. I for me at least. I mean, I love absurd humor. Like things like that are just like it's so ridiculous. It has to be funny. Like it can't not be because it can't be real.
Also,
you know what I mean?
Laughing is kind of a defense mechanism sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And so we laugh because we're like, wow, this is awful. This is crazy. At least I do, for sure.
Yeah. But I think when I actually find Mommie Dearest funny, it's Diana Scarwoods, because I am not one of your fans. It's, you know, the little kid, Jesus Christ. It's that shot of Faye Dunaway leaving her to clean all that stuff up where she just in slow motion goes totally cross-eyed.
With the cold cream, I can't.
Cream
and those fucking eyebrows that I couldn't stop staring at. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, those are the moments that, you know, Barbara, please. I mean, it's just, it's like, it's all so silly. It's just so stupid.
That was stupid.
But anyway, so there is a lot of people have tried to define kind of what camp is. But the most famous definition probably came from Susan Sontag in 1964, so well before this movie. And she called camp a vision of the world in terms of style, but a particular kind of style. It's the love of the exaggerated, the off, of things being what they are not. Elsewhere in that same essay, Notes on Camp, she said, it's a world where everything is in quotation marks. It's not a lamp, it's a lamp. It's not a woman, it's a woman. And that's just, it's this idea that everything is kind of artificial. And when something is unintentionally bad like this, you just see the artificiality of it. And maybe that's what makes it okay for us to think it's funny. But it is a movie, spoiler alert to the end of the show. I do own this movie because I've seen it at several parties with friends of mine, and it's a riot. It's a riot. Anyway, I guess that makes me a terrible person. Yeah, I should own Value of the Dolls. I think Value of the Dolls is on my cheap charts list. When it falls down to like, I can buy it for $3.
$5, yeah.
Get it. Yeah. Okay, so a few fun facts. Can't be fun in question marks, facts. Christina Crawford's book was not the first tell-all memoir at a parent's expense, but it created this huge thing that like there was so many copycats afterwards. It was one of the best-selling memoirs in publishing history, with more than 3 million copies sold, a large number, by the way, in hardback. Before it went to paperback, It was selling out because people were so desperate to read it. They didn't wait for the cheap paperbacks. They plunked down big money for those hardbacks. In the book, Christina never quite says so, but she alludes to the idea that Joan Crawford might have killed Mr. Pepsi Cola by pushing him down the stairs. Other folks have said it's well documented that he was found in bed, not being pushed down the stairs. The autopsy clearly says heart attack, but Christina was not above maybe alleging that Joan might have killed husband number 3.
I mean, none of us think that that's a crazy idea, so could be.
Well, yeah. Christina kind of had an axe to grind.
A bit.
Got it. Dad joke by Matt.
So this movie came out, and it didn't get universally terrible reviews, but most of the reviews were pretty bad. I think everyone kind of said this is not the movie they thought they were making. But after about a month, it was still in theaters, and audiences, primarily of the homosexual persuasion, began showing up to screenings dressed in bathrobes, faces smeared with cold cream, equipped with jars of Ajax and wire hangers, and they were participating in this film similar to a screening at midnight of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Love it.
Paramount saw this as a way to make money on what was elsewise probably going to be a real box office dog. So they encouraged this behavior and ran newspaper ads that took Dunaway's face out of the ad, because she was, of course, the highlight of the poster, highlighting the oft-quoted line in huge type, "No wire hangers ever." Mommie Dearest was written in this cursive script with a little wire hanger dangling from the word, the final T in Dearest. And then the final tagline at the bottom was, "The biggest mother of them all."
Oh, boy.
And that's how they started. While it was still in theaters, that's how they were advertising this film.
I love it.
Faye Dunaway, the producers, the director, all really pissed off. But Paramount was like, "You want us to lose our shirts? We don't."
Right. Yeah,
so
you want this movie to make money?
And again, I think residuals weren't as much of a thing. They were the only ones who had anything writing on it, so they were doing what they were doing. Fine little fun fact: Barbara of Barbara Please was played by an actress named Jocelyn Brando, and I thought, could it be because they do look kind of similar? And in fact, yes, that was Marlon Brando's older sister.
Oh, wow.
Hilarious.
Who played Barbara in that and had to pull Joan off of Christina to prevent her being choked to death.
Jesus Christ.
Iconic scene. And then finally, in the 2000s, John Epperson, better known as Lip-Synca, he creates these audio montages that go on for hours and then lip syncs to the entire thing. And he did a show in the 2000s called The Passion of the Crawford, in which he took lines of Joan Crawford from her dialogue from her films, from interviews, as well as audio of Faye Dunaway from Mommie Dearest, and stitched them all together to play Joan Crawford, mostly spoken, not sung, lip sync the entire thing. He's genius. I mean, Lip Synca does some amazing
That's
stuff,
cool.
but you really ought to go look at just go to YouTube and just look at the kind of sizzle reel for the Passion of the Crawford. It is some crazy ass stuff. Anywho,
Love
you ready to
that.
play a game?
Yes.
Sure.
Let's do it. Okay, so this game, I called it Cancel Culture, the film. Your task is to build a reputation-destroying film about a famous person, either alive or recently deceased. And this person is going to get the Mommie Dearest treatment, and we are going to ruin their good name for all time. I played this game in utter seriousness. I picked someone who I thought actually deserved this treatment. So my question is, who will play your targeted celebrity? Are there any notable victims of their abuse that you'd like to cast as well? And then C, what scene will be forever linked with that person for as long as they are remembered, a la no wire hangers, exclamation point, ever, exclamation point. Allie, we're going to ask you to go first.
All right, before I start, I'm just saying this is all alleged. I don't want to get sued by anybody. So I wanted to do what was really important for me for picking my celebrity. This movie was known sort of for its shock value, right? Like, I don't think anybody thought that Joan Crawford was like a top-notch person, but this kind of, destroyed her reputation. So I wanted to think of a celebrity that would be shocking to know is actually not a good person. I think the celebrity that I picked is not like taken to the abuse level, but apparently, in the little research that I did, is just like generally not a nice person. But the twist is that much like Christina, this celebrity has a sibling also in the industry, and the sibling was the one that wrote the book. So I did a little research on like celebrities that are known to be bad or awful or evil or whatever. And one name came up. John Cusack apparently is not a very nice person. And so I said, what if Joan Cusack wrote a tell-all book about her brother?
Team Joan. I'm already Team Joan.
Already, right. Like you don't even need to discuss it. But that would be a very, very big shock to the system, right? Especially because Joan Cusack these days is kind of out of Hollywood and, not really acting anymore. But she's been sitting on these deep, dark secrets about how her brother is just a total asshole and rules every set that he's on. He's just apparently just not a nice guy, just not kind of a big jerk. And I thought a nice twist would to have two celebrities play them who are also brother and sister, Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Fun.
So it could be like siblings and siblings. Perhaps Maggie could also direct because she's been doing a lot of that. And the scene that I'm embellishing it, but I'm going to say that John Cusack was a real jerk during Say Anything and really wanted to do that boombox scene, right? That he's known for. But what we see in the background is that him bullying everybody just so that he could have this moment in the film because he knew that he wasn't being portrayed all that well in that role. So that's the scene that everybody will stick with in the expose that doesn't exist and is alleged. But I thought that would be fun.
Yeah, I would buy that absolutely. If
Right,
she came out and
correct.
said my brother's an asshole, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, and here's why. Here are all the
I
reasons.
accept.
Yeah.
I accept without question.
So that was mine. Not probably as deep as your guys's, but I really wanted to do something a little bit more for the shock value, just like the movie and the book was for this.
Okay, Matt, go.
Okay, so my person is pretty much widely known as a terrible person because this came out in 2017 and their career kind of took a nosedive, and I think now they are destitute.
Too bad for them.
Exactly. Mine is Kevin Spacey. And the reason I went with Kevin Spacey is because there's a lot of scandal around him. He has never been convicted of anything. Even all the lawsuits that have come out, nobody has ever really won the lawsuit. It's just that he has actually not worked anymore because nobody wants to be associated with him.
Aww.
So yeah, so everything is kind of established as hearsay because nothing has ever been, you know what I mean? Nobody's ever really won. And there's been a bunch of stuff, like I started looking through like a bunch of stuff like over in England too, when he was the director of a theater over there, stuff came out. Like he's just kind of been bad about interacting with people, and he tends to blame it on alcohol, which, dude, then clean up your act,
Yeah.
like whatever. So I was gonna base my movie on his interaction with the first thing that came out, which was when Anthony Rapp accused him of inappropriate behavior
Mm-hmm.
and created that and started that lawsuit. So I was gonna have Clark Gregg play Kevin Spacey because I love
Oh my
Clark
God.
Gregg.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's good. That's so good.
Perfect.
He's a great actor, and I don't feel like we get enough of him. I don't know why. I love Clark Gregg. And then I was gonna have Jesse Plemons play Anthony Rapp, and I thought,
Oh.
I exactly. I couldn't figure out somebody else, and I'm like, actually, he's having a moment right now, and I think that would actually be he would make a good Anthony Rapp. So my scene that's going to be the scene is there's going to be is going to be Kevin Spacey like having his morning coffee, breakfast, whatever, watching the news, and then the news is actually talking about the legal battle that is about to happen because now it has become public knowledge to everybody, and he realizes what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then his agent calls him immediately as like the morning show is talking about this and for everybody, and like his just realization and losing his shit like as it all goes off. And that was going to be my opening scene for the movie, and I thought that would probably be the most memorable scene too. But I thought taking one moment and in his fall down instead of, and then maybe having some flashbacks to other incidents as other people come out to kind of show how long this has been going on and how he actually hasn't adjusted it, because it's happened even as he was older too. It's just really, really weird. Like his behavior is bad. I mean, the other person I thought about doing this about was Bryan Singer, because Bryan Singer is
also
notorious for this shit too.
Yeah.
So
Terrible.
Scott Rudin, you know, we could go on.
Exactly.
So I think it's interesting that all three of us, to give a celebrity the Mommie Dearest treatment, and I never specified gender. All three of us picked dudes to bring down, which I support.
Yeah,
I support that.
Down with patriarchy.
My subject is someone that, for most of his career, I have just found deeply annoying. I just think he's a terrible actor. And then other people have come around, and that was his main crime for the longest time, is I just thought he was really, really bad and overrated. But then multiple allegations of sexual assault and misconduct directed at not only women, but mostly underage girls have surfaced. And I'm like, okay, well, you really are a creep. So I don't mind bringing you down, Mr. Jared Leto. Down you go.
Oh, yes. I actually thought about him too.
So he, in addition to sexual assault and misconduct charges, he is also allegedly responsible for getting so deep into his character that he sends bizarre gifts to co-stars, sometimes before he's even met them, including dead pigs, live rats, and used condoms through the mail that he sends to other actors.
Which is illegal, by the way.
Yes. All of which, yes.
So gross.
So I have decided to cast Zac Efron as Jared Leto.
That's very good.
And Jared is in, I've never even heard their music, but I'm just going to go ahead and say, a mediocre rock band called 30 Seconds to Mars with his brother, Shannon Leto. So I thought, here comes Dylan Efron, Zach's younger brother, to play Jared's younger brother. And I'm going to cast Millie Alcock, our new Supergirl, as Laura LaRue, who was a model but underage. And so Millie is over the age of 18, but she'd be playing a young girl in some of those more disturbing scenes where Jared is being a real dick. But the big scene that I think would probably take the cake is a very small cameo. I would cast Sydney Sweeney as Margot Robbie receiving her live rat in the mail from Jared Leto, who had just been cast as Joker in the Suicide Squad while Margot Robbie was preparing to play Harley Quinn. And it would just be a, you know, you'd have a little scene where it's like, you know, her casting is announced. She's giving a little, you know, thing to the press on the phone. And she's like, so excited to be part of this movie, blah, 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 blah. Hangs up the phone, walks to her mailbox, opens it up. it's some horrible animal carcass. She screams. It's disgusting. Credits roll. It's the Jared Leto movie. And that's the last time you'd ever see Margot, because I don't want to defame her good name any more than is necessary. But yeah, Jared Leto's a pig and a bad actor and didn't deserve his Oscar. So just because he's terrible. So there. Come at me, Jared. I don't give a shit.
I did not know that Dylan Efron existed.
Oh,
Damn, is he a cutie?
yes.
Oh,
I
the
saw him in
Efron brothers
Traders.
together. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a snack. He's a snizz.
Yeah.
And he's apparently like a really nice guy and, you know, just very funny and yeah.
But I think the two of them would, and they have a good time together as brothers, doing lots of, you know, so I think they'd have a good time playing, you know, the Leto brothers being awful, terrible people.
Yep.
Okay, so we've reached the end of this episode. It is time for Skip, Rent, or Buy. I think I need to make clear, Skip, Rent, or Buy here we're not endorsing the quality of this film. We're just saying, was it so bad that we actually enjoyed it? So Skip is, I wish I'd never seen it. Eric, why did you watch me make this horrible movie? Now I have nightmares, cannot unsee, eye bleach necessary, I hate you. Rent, yeah, okay, it's bad, it was funny, haha, but whatever. Buy, yeah, this is a party movie for life. Better just get my hands on this one because I'm going to watch it a million times as it's meant to be watched in a room full of catty gay men who are making fun of it. So Matt, you're going to go first on Skip, Rent, or Buy.
I mean, this is a little bit of a tough call. I have seen worse movies. Like, yes, is this over the top? Is this really campy? Is it kind of poorly acted at times? Yes, it is. But watched in the proper environment, this is a good time. So I feel like this is a Rent. And I kind of feel like you need to watch this movie just to know what bad movies are at times, like what not to do. This could be just as educational for people learning how to act as it could, as it could be.
The primer, really, yeah.
Exactly.
Boundaries for Actors 101.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, I think this is a Rent. I think you should watch Mommie Dearest at least once. So
in the right environment.
Yeah.
Allie.
Very similar feeling as Matt. I don't want to say that this is a skip per se, because I do think people could enjoy themselves. You know, perhaps you watch it with a group or with your own mom, which would be hilarious, you know, if you have a good relationship with your mom. So yes, but did I love it? Do I needed to see it again? I don't know that I would even need to see it again with a bunch of, you know, gay men, which is obviously my dream. But like, I don't know that I've seen it a couple times now. It's kind of played out, right? Like, and I feel the same way about Rocky Horror, right? Like, I've seen it once. I've seen it with the whole kit and caboodle with the props. I've done the musical. Do I need to see that again? Probably not. Like, it's like all the fun has been kind of sucked out of it for a while. So I'm really riding that line between Skip and Rent, I guess. But I would say that everybody probably needs to see it once in whatever your ideal environment is. And then you don't ever need to see it again. Is sort of where I am.
I mean, I do own this digitally. I probably bought it for $5 because when it came on sale, I was like, oh, I'll watch this again. So I might as well pay the $5 now, and that way I don't have to rent it. Would I give it a buy in the Rewind Project rubric? Probably not, but I would say rent. And I think I'd take on, you know, Matt's language of it's a must rent, only because you have to understand the wire hanger jokes. You need to know what Barbara please even means. When you go to a gay bar and someone screams out, Christina, bring me the axe, you need to know you need context. It's a part of your history, children. You know, you need to understand these things. And yeah, watched in the right context, it is something that is just, you know, it's unbelievable. And if you want to watch it again and again and again, go for it. But, you know, whatever, I'm not going to stop you. But yeah, I would call this a rental for cultural significance more so than film quality. Let's just say that. Okay, folks, we are going to be back in a week. We're going to turn the Wayback Machine back another 5 years to 1976, from Faye Dunaway's worst performance, I believe, to what I would consider her best performance, and the film which she won an Oscar for Best Actress. That is 1976's Network.
A movie I've never seen.
that
never
has a
seen it either.
whole lot to say about the media's role in society, and it is going to be a really interesting watch in 2026. I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm really looking forward to seeing this one again as someone sitting in 2026, as our media is constantly letting us down and falling apart.
Yep.
It's going to be an interesting story to view. So I hope folks will join us then. Until then, I am Eric.
I'm Allie.
I'm Matt.
Be kind, rewind.
Don't fuck with me, fellas.
You've been listening to The Rewind Project. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, and Google Play. Please subscribe and rate us. It helps a lot. We love your comments and questions. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and via our new phone number at 202-618-2402. Thanks for listening. Be kind. Rewind.
My subject was someone who, for most of his career, I have just found deeply...
Sorry.